Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing another plate carrier review for you, and this time we are talking about the Ace-Link quad release plate carrier. So as the name might imply, kind of the big calling card for this thing is the 4 points of quick disconnect, which we're definitely going to be going over here in a little bit. But first, I want to explain what my experience is with Ace-Link and kind of how this video came about. Over a year ago now, Kanai OreGear, who I've done a lot of work with, contacted me saying if I wanted to review some of their pistol plates, which happened to be made by Ace-Link. After that, Ace-Link directly got in touch with me to have me test out some armor plates along with their plate carrier. Hopefully, if you've been following the channel, you've already seen the video where I tested out the level 3 rifle plates from Ace-Link, today we're going to be talking about the plate carrier that came along with it, and that I've also been running those plates in as well. So for full disclosure purposes, I did not pay for this plate carrier. This was provided at no cost by Ace-Link, along with the plates inside it. The stuff I've attached to the front obviously has been provided by myself, but the carrier and what's inside of it, I did not pay for. So for what that is worth. I also want to just get right off the bat as far as my experience with plate carriers and kind of where my experience lies. Really, all of the experience I have wearing plate carriers and running plate carriers has come exclusively from the civilian world and the training that I have taken. I didn't wear them professionally in the military or anything like that. So just so we all understand what my experience base is here. So I don't want to make myself out to be something that I am not. So anyway, with all those fun disclaimers and kind of caveats laid out, let's go ahead and run through this plate carrier. I'm going to kind of reposition so you guys can get a better view of it, and then we'll kind of dive in. All right, so my face is going to be somewhat cut off for this, but I'm sure most of the people watching this video don't care too much about that. You're just focused on the plate carrier anyway. So to kind of run over the front, this is a plate carrier. This one specifically is made for the 11 by 12 plates. They are making one now that's for the 11 by 14 plates. This one is their 10 by 12. So it is rather small, and just to give you a frame of reference for my size, I am 6'2" and about 235-ish pounds. That 235 pounds might be dispersed slightly differently than some of you out there. So depending on your build, you can get a rough idea of what this is going to look like. You can kind of see that there is quite a bit exposed here, but that's more normal than you might expect for most plate carriers. A lot of plate carriers have a lot of excess material where there's not actually plate underneath. So this one is very, very tightly fit to the plates, so you get a real good idea of what your actual coverage and protection is. As far as how wide this front piece is, for frame of reference, I have 6 MOLLE sections going across the front here, so I can very easily fit 3 of the HSGI taco pouches across the front. You're not really going to be able to get 4 mags wide if you're running intermediate cartridges, AR-15, AK-74 like what was in here earlier, or AK-47. It's really just going to be 3 stacks across for what that's worth. You do have MOLLE on the cummerbund if you wanted to run extra stuff there, but as far as what this actual front plate covers, we're talking about those 6 sections there, or again, 3 rifle mags. Now, we're going to talk about the quick releases here on the side, but we're going to hold off for just a second. Like I said, we do have this cummerbund that wraps around. These are designed for their longer side soft armor plates, so they do make stuff specifically to go in here for what that is worth. Going on the back, it's just kind of more of the front here. We'll go ahead and turn around so you guys can see that. Main thing that you're going to notice different is the carry handle. The carry handle is sewn in for what that is worth. You guys can get an idea there. Same width across the back as it is across the front. So 6 layers or 6 vertical rows of MOLLE webbing. So for attaching whatever you want. And then same story here on the side for my other cummerbund as what was going on over here. Now the shoulders have quite a bit of padding. Now, there's a big long padded section across the top that definitely adds to the comfort of wearing this plate carrier for extended periods of time, especially when you have plates inserted, especially rifle plates that are going to add up, plus mag pouches and everything else. It really helps kind of spread that load out over a little bit wider area, especially for how small and svelte the body of the carrier is. It's got some very generous padding in the shoulders, but we might touch a little bit on that more later. But then kind of to the big calling card for this plate carrier, as its name implies, the quad release, we have 4 different positions across the front here for quick release. Now, the quick release style, there's a couple different methods, quick release tabs on the market right now. These ones, you kind of pull out and down at the same time, and it just quickly comes off. You can do that again in all 4 sections, so it makes donning and doffing of the plate carrier very, very easy. Well, I should say doffing particularly easy. Donning, you have to get kind of good at it, of lining up your little tubies here and then clicking it in, which can be easy to do once you take a look at it. So not too terribly difficult to put on, but very, very easy to take off. So let's talk a little bit about that, like why the quad release thing, and we'll talk about what my opinions of it are a little bit later. So there's multiple reasons why you might want a quick release tab on your plate carrier. Not all plate carriers need it, not all people need it, but there are some definite benefits. So first of all, anytime you're working around water or anything like that where you might get submerged, having a very heavy plate carrier makes you not conducive to floating. You weigh a whole lot more than a witch at that point in time. My Monty Python guys will get that reference, hopefully. So being able to remove that plate carrier quickly is going to be very, very important to you staying alive in a wet environment. So being able to just pop off these, if that's all you need to get it off, or pop the shoulder straps off as well, and have the whole thing just kind of fall off you, is really going to be nice and could potentially save your life. The other main area, at least that I can think of, where it would come in handy is being able to administer first aid. So again, plates only cover 10 by 12 inches, or 11 to 14 inches, not your entire body. And there are times when you're going to have to be able to remove the plate carrier to administer aid to somebody, and they'll probably be taking it off of you to be able to administer aid to you. And so if I am in a life-threatening situation medically, I want people to be able to get access to that area as quickly as possible. And when we're talking about dealing with firearms, there is definitely a likelihood that that could happen. So giving them ready access where it's not going to, it's not going to be overly difficult for them to cut through the nylon webbing is going to just set them up for success, which is therefore setting myself up for success. So definitely some benefits to that, but there might be some potential drawbacks as well. But again, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So I do want to dive in a little bit more into some of the features that aren't as easy to see when I'm wearing it. So I went ahead and pulled the plate carrier off here. Again, very easy to do. The main reason I didn't do it all in one shot is I have to be able to move the mic. So we're looking at the inside of the front panel here. Now, I still have the plates in here because their level 3 plates are phenomenally light. It's not a big deal to leave the plates in while I'm talking about it. You'll see that we do have some padded sections here on the corner. That does a couple things. A, it helps kind of distribute the weight out a little bit better, so you're not getting hard spots. And then the other thing that it does is it creates slight cushions for airflow to kind of run through. Now, I will say that it's not as flowy as some of the other plate carriers I've used, but that is at least the theory there. So nice, really soft padding. And then you got that open section in the middle to, at least in theory, let airflow go through. Again, some very generous padding on the shoulder straps. I believe you can remove that if you don't want it, but again, it does really make things comfortable there. Moving on to the back end of the plate carrier, obviously we've got our details written on the inside here. We've got, again, those same padded sections. One thing that is rather nice about this plate carrier, if I can flip this thing on its back, again, the shoulder strap that we were talking about earlier, you do have Velcro sections on the front and back, in case I didn't mention that, for morale patches or identification patches, you know, your name, security, police, whatever you want to put on it. This back flap does zipper open, which gives you access to your adjustment for your cummerbund, so you can really fine tune it. And even then, you do have the shock cord here, which is going to give you a little bit of bungee, just to give you a little bit more, just, I want to say fine adjustment, but gives you a little bit of more leeway and wiggle room, so you can kind of still have it work and have it be nice and tight against your body. Now, I do want to talk about the plate pockets here. Again, this is their 10 by 12 plate carrier. Again, I believe they're making an 11 by 14 now. I have their, again, level 3 plates inside, and they fit very, very snug and very, very well. I'm going to go ahead and leave this plate out just so I can talk about something else here in just a second, but that's kind of the major features I want to go over at this point. So I want to go ahead and start by talking about the pros of this plate carrier. So one of the big things with this one, it is very cost effective. So in fact, one of my coworkers, unbeknownst to me, just ordered one of these plate carriers direct from Ace-Link. And even though he got it with a camo pattern and everything else, with a plate, I think it included level 4 plates, he got it on as a really good deal. Now I don't want to go quoting prices because it does fluctuate quite often. They do run sales fairly often, but compared to a lot of other plate carriers on the market, especially with what you get on this one, they are very reasonably priced. So definitely not prohibitively expensive like some options, but also not so cheap that you have to question the legitimacy of the brand. So really, really well priced. Another thing, the weight. So the weight of the plate carrier by itself without the plates inside is fairly lightweight, even with all the padding. I was gonna weigh it, but I didn't weigh it before putting these taco pouches on, and honestly these taco pouches are such a pain to get off that I didn't want to remove them and then have to reinstall them, and the Ace-Link does not list a weight on their website, but I can tell you it is a fairly lightweight plate carrier, and again, even with their level 3 rifle rated plates, still very, very lightweight and comfortable enough that I can wear all day long with no issues whatsoever. When I wear my more game time plate carrier, which has a lot more on it, it's really not super fun to be in and doing a bunch of up and down drills with it for extended periods of time. This thing I feel like I could wear all day and have no problem. Again, part of that is the lighter weight plates inside of it. There is just also a lot that's going into the comfort of these things. So again, these very, very generous shoulder straps really help kind of spread that weight out. Doesn't give you any hot spots on your shoulders or anything like that. And again, just makes it easier to wear for longer periods of time. The other big thing is the QDs. So the QDs might be a pro or might be a con, depending on your perspective on things. But the QDs do make this thing very, very easy to take off in an emergency situation, or even just to take off, again, to be able to pull this thing off to film this portion of the video, just popping those 2 tabs, lift it off over my head, and it's no problem. Even when I'm wearing my helmet, I've taken this thing on and off with my helmet. A little bit more logistically challenging because you have to kind of get around nods and ear pro and everything else, but it can still be done. A lot easier to do it with this than my other plate carriers, at least with minimal effort. Now, now that we've talked about a lot of the pros of this thing, let's talk about some of its drawbacks. So, as I kind of alluded to earlier, there is something about these plate panels that I am not a big fan of, and that is how minimal Velcro connection you have retaining the plates in their pockets. So most plate carriers that I've used have big panels of Velcro so that when you secure that plate inside there, there is no concern whatsoever of things coming loose, coming off, and that plate falling out. It'll probably be hard to tell with the lighting and, you know, this being a black carrier with black plates, but let me try to just slip this guy back in, and then I can show you what sort of retention these plates have. Again, to me, it just leaves a little bit to be desired, and it's kind of not a big thing. Like, it'd be a real easy thing for them to address in maybe a Gen 2, or maybe they've done plenty of testing with this and it hasn't been an issue, because I can honestly say it hasn't been an issue for my testing so far. But again, I am using really lightweight plates, and I haven't, you know, jumped out of airplanes or anything with this plate carrier on, so I haven't really totally stressed it, but it's just something that bugs me and I would love to see addressed again, maybe in a Gen 2. So now with this thing closed, you can see this whole flap here. This is all the real estate they have to attach to Velcro, and even though there's a larger patch of Velcro inside, so once you kind of wrap that plate in tight, you just get this little itty bitty line of Velcro that attaches and gets your Velcro attached hook and loop style to the plate carrier itself. So again, it's been secure, it's been solid for me. I would just like to see a little bit more real estate, even if it's just purely for my own psychological reassurance. Again, kind of a minor thing, but still something that I would love to see different. Now, one of the other things that I personally like, but some people could see as a con, is kind of how bulky the shoulder straps are. And for me, it makes it phenomenally comfortable, like extremely comfortable to wear for long periods of time, but it does take up a lot of space. So some people might not dig that, depending on what kind of stuff you're routing over your shoulders, what kind of packs you're wearing over the top of it. That might be something you don't love, but that is obviously something that's easy to fix. And I'm pretty sure you can take these things off. I haven't tried because I haven't wanted to. I really do like them, but some people might not like how much real estate that covers, again, depending on what kind of gear you're wearing. One of the other drawbacks is, like I said, even though you do have these padded sections internally that are supposed to create airflow, I don't get the best airflow with this plate carrier. Again, I've used some very, very good airflow plate carriers in the past, so I do have a pretty high bar for that, but I would just like to see a little bit more of a channel in there to help the airflow come out. Again, with how comfortable and lightweight the plate carrier is, it hasn't been an enormous issue, but again, I'm also in Oregon, where things are nowhere near as hot as some other parts of the country. The last thing that I have that could be a complaint, again, while the quad release does make it very, very easy to doff this plate carrier, it does create a little bit more bulk in the shoulders. So what that can affect is getting a good shoulder weld with your rifle. It's already a little bit difficult to do it with plates on in the first place, but depending on what kind of gun you're running and how you run it, there is a chance that these buckles could kind of interfere with getting a good secure shoulder weld. Not an issue I've run into. Most of the guns that I run, I've been able to get it figured out without having to put too much effort into it, but just something to keep in mind as well. Do you need 4 quick releases? Can you get away with just 2? That's going to be a decision for you to make, but you definitely have a lot of release options here. But really, that's it as far as cons go. So I'm going to go ahead, throw this plate carrier back on, reposition my mic here, and we'll wrap up our thoughts about this plate carrier. So let's kind of talk about my overall experience with this plate carrier. So I've been running it for quite a while now. I've been running with AKs, ARs, and both 5.56, 300 blackout, and AKs and 5.45 and 7.62 by 39. And I just really like this thing overall. It's a fairly minimal plate carrier as far as what is on your body, which some people dig, some people don't. I personally do kind of like that. Even though the shoulders are a little bit bulky, that really does make it very comfortable to wear for extended periods of time. I was out training with some guys a couple weeks ago, which you've probably seen a lot of footage from, and a couple of those guys were wearing gear and they were very excited to take it off during breaks. I felt totally fine wearing mine the whole time we were out there, and that's just a testament to how comfortable this is. Now, it was also fairly cold out there that day. Had it been a little bit hotter, the lack of airflow might have started to get to me, but again, it's not a huge thing. It does have airflow, it's just not as good as some of the stuff I've compared it to in the past, for what that's worth. And really the only big drawback I have is how minimal coverage there is on the plate retention pocket. But again, it actually hasn't been an issue for me so far. Again, it could in the future, but up to this point, it hasn't proven to be an issue. It's just something that I would just feel a little bit better with if I had more coverage. And as far as the bulkiness in the shoulders, that's not an issue for me with anything that I've used it for so far. And then the only other thing that I've run into is it doesn't hold SAPI plates very well, but SAPI plates are oversized for the size of plate carrier anyway. So again, as long as you know what size your plates are, it's not going to be a problem. Now, I do want to say thanks to AceLink for letting me try out this plate carrier along with the plates inside. Again, hopefully you guys have already seen the review of those plates. I do enjoy being able to get hands-on with different styles of equipment, just to, again, broaden my experiences and bring that stuff to you guys. And again, unbeknownst to me, having a coworker go out and purchase one of these himself, it'll be good to also get his opinion. He's also a much smaller guy than I am, so these plates would probably cover him a lot better than they do me. But again, honestly, realistically speaking, this is what most plates are going to cover anyway. You might want to go bigger, you might want to keep it small. All depends on what floats your boat. So again, I do want to say thanks to AceLink, and they also made it very clear they wanted my genuine opinion. So I have stated some negatives here, and I've also communicated those with them directly. And they said, hey, that's cool. Go ahead and say it in your video. We really appreciate honest feedback. And so I really like that. I would do it anyway, but it's always good when you have the vocal support of the company that you're working with when doing stuff like that. It is also worth mentioning they do have other stuff available as well as far as plate carriers go, along with the plates that go inside it and everything else like that. So if you're interested in picking up a carrier setup or plates, definitely check them out. You can also check them out through Kanai ProGear, which I have a discount code in the description box for, and that does apply to plates and carriers over there for what that is worth. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go and throw that in the comment section down below. If you have experience with this stuff, definitely let me know what you think. And if you have a carrier setup that you personally like, let me know that as well. I do also want to say thanks to my patrons for making videos like this one possible. I've given my spiel enough on that already. If you guys are interested, definitely check that out. But anyway, as always, I hope you got something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.